now, Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast.
Recorded at Konami HQ in downtown Tokyo, this is your host, Brian Payton, for the exclusive in-game broadcast of
Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast.
Welcome to the first ever Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast, number 1. It's going to be included in MGS4. As you know, playing through the game, as you're doing right now, you've got the iPod equipped, and you're listening to this show, and you're going to be able to download future shows in the coming months. But first, let me introduce Aki Saito, who's joining me on the program.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for joining me, Aki. It's kind of weird. We're in the future now. It's 106 days in the future that we're recording this.
Yes.
Or that we're broadcasting this. We're recording this in February, knowing that this is going to be burnt onto the Blu-ray disc for millions of people to enjoy.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never been burnt on a Blu-ray disc before.
Me neither.
So people listening to this, they come across the iPod in MGS4.
Yes.
They come across this episode, and they're wondering, now what exactly is this? What is this for?
Yes.
Good question.
This is to, well, actually, there's a lot of meanings, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, to ease the tension when you're playing the game.
Right.
Things like that as well.
You can play your own music. You can play this. You can ease the tension by listening to our voices.
Our stupid conversation.
Yes. And you also ease the tension of Snake.
Yes.
Because his sight gauge will fill up if you're listening to music.
Exactly.
Or if you're listening to this program.
Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast.
This is really cool in the game. Obviously, as players know, they're playing this on an Apple iPod, not just a generic MP3 player. Now, Aki, you worked on this project. You worked on getting approvals from Apple. Can you talk about that process of getting the iPod into the game, which is very cool?
Yes. Well, Kojima Production always comes up with cool ideas, and at that time still is. Everyone has an iPod as their favorite music player, and we thought, as Hideo, Mr. Kojima is a great Apple fan as well, we thought that why not we put the actual iPod in the game and for Snake to use as an item, which is a cool idea. So it was really fun working with Apple because they're really nice guys, actually.
And you're a super fan of Apple.
Well, yes, me too. Hideo and I are the last sole survivors within the company to have the Mac PCs on our desks and work on it.
But you take it a step further. You have a competitor's laptop. It's a PC-based laptop.
Yes.
With an Apple sticker over their brand, over their logo on that laptop, so people from a distance think you're on a PowerBook or something.
Yeah. Well, that's actually I customize inside as well. So because at home I've always been an Apple user, and it's I changed the inside as well, and it's I don't know, it's just more fun when you're working.
Right.
You don't get dull, and you want to work on a computer that you love.
Well, you like to be that rebel,
Yeah. Well,
but it's funny. But it's funny because you don't have to be a rebel if you're outside of Japan, like especially like in the States. You see Macintosh, you see MacBooks and all over the place. But but really the iPod is synonymous with MP3 players, and so we've gotten the game. Did you have to go through a bunch of different checks?
Well, yeah, I did a couple of rounds of trying to get approvals, but what I did was, this was really cool. They actually wanted to see how what you guys are playing right now, how this will work. So what I did was I went to the studio and I made a video with the staff of Kojima Productions. Thanks, guys. And we made a cool video, and made sure that can be played on an iPod as well.
Oh, slick.
So I sent that DVD over to Apple, and they really loved it, and they gave me approval on that. So
cool.
Screenshots, usually, this happens only on screenshots and text-based explanation.
Sure.
But I thought, this is...
They want to see it in motion, right?
Yeah, so, usually you kind of ask them to come into the studio and that kind of thing, but that wasn't possible, so I made a cool video, and they seen this part of what the players are doing right now. So everything was recorded, sent to Apple. They loved it. It was great.
Perfect.
Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast.
So the plan for this podcast, and I can actually say podcast now because I kind of steer away from that word sometimes because it's really a radio program and not necessarily everybody's listening to it on an iPod. So why call it a podcast? But this time we know everybody's listening to this in the in-game iPod. You can't download this on our website or through iTunes. This is exclusive to MGS4. You can listen to this program, and we're going to have future programs as well as music that will be coming out in the coming months after the release of MGS4 that you can be able to download. And we're going to be talking about the making of the game. It's kind of like a director's commentary, which is it's something that's never been done for games before.
I mean,
this format.
Yeah, this format is really cool. I mean, usually director's commentary or making of is done on a bonus disc or things like that. But of course, we could have that. But it's so cool as an item in the game, and you actually have to collect them, right? And when you find it, you want to listen to it, right? And you could actually still play the game while we're just
chatting away and blabbering about all sorts of stuff. And we're going to be providing background info on the game, about different areas of the game, like the creation of those areas, as well as strategies, so you know how to defeat bosses if you're so inclined. But the question is what to do about spoilers, and I'm still thinking about that.
Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast.
As Mr. Kojima surmised on the Japanese side of this podcast, on the Japanese version of MGS4, this is probably the listener's second time through MGS4. I don't know about you when you played MGS4, but you play it once and you know that, the second time I'm going to try this different route, or I'm going to try these different items or these different weapons. I'm guessing most people are going to be listening to the iPod through the second time through, because the first time through you want to listen to the Harry Gregson Williams soundtrack, right?
Well, no, the first time actually you're so tense trying to clear the game.
Yeah, you didn't even know what's going on.
Yeah, so I did know what the iPod, you could use the iPod, but you have to use it as an item.
Right.
And you want that solid eye as well.
Sure.
That you and I
the
love
rations.
so much. Yeah, the rations. So, yes, I think second playthrough, third playthrough is what everyone's listening right now.
So as players have probably noticed, if this is the second time through, their items and their Drebin points are going to carry over to the second playthrough. And so they can use the second playthrough to try to hunt down items that are not found in Drebin's shop, or rare items like some kind of face camos. So there's a lot to go through on your second time, your third time through.
I mean, this is a time of fun, isn't it? I mean, you're now easy about the routes and what's going to happen. Right. You're more explorer, and maybe sneaking as well.
Yeah, you're better at sneaking.
Yeah, you're going to try a lot of things. Since you're listening, actually, you should be more easy and enjoying the game, actually more relaxed, listening to this radio program at the same time. I think it's a fun experience, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to hearing us do this on June 12th when the game launches. Now, don't forget to check back frequently to download new episodes of the MGS4 Integral podcast on the same spot you found on your iPod in the game of MGS4. And also, don't forget to check out our other show, which is on the web. You can subscribe to it through iTunes. It's our normal podcast. We do it every week. It's usually Ken, myself, and Aki or Mark. And we do that every week. We're approaching the 100th episode. And you can download that like on your computer. And we give you an update about what's going on in the world of Kojima Productions. Not necessarily all MGS4 stuff. So. It's a good show. I like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of secrets given away as well.
Yeah, a lot of leaks, a lot of information leaks. That's how we roll. But this is going to close the inaugural MGS4 Integral Podcast, number 1.
I hope everyone enjoying it, and I hope everyone finds their way to play it, because there's various ways. My recommendation is try just sneak everything through. It's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Play it as a sneaking game.
Yeah.
Not as a straight up action game. You're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, it is. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, thanks, Aki.
All right, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast. Be sure to download future episodes available exclusively through the Metal Gear Solid 4 game. From all of us at Kojima Productions, thanks for listening and thanks for playing.
We're out of here.